St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a gorgeous day outside. Indoors, a very comfortable 72 degrees. This is the rubber match of this 3-game series. Each team winning a game so far. Tampa Bay won 4-3 last night. Monday night, it was Blue Jays 8-5. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. Top of the order is the same. First 4 in the order. Then number 5 is Deanna Navarro. This series, he's gone 5 for 8 with a pair of home runs against his former team. He has always hit well. In fact, the last 5 home runs he's hit have all been against the Tampa Bay Rays. Down in the 8th spot, Kevin Pillar is riding an 8-game hit streak. Pillar has 29 hits in the month of June. He's among the leaders in baseball in that department. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs over his last 8 games, and they are looking to get at Nate Carnes, who is making his 15th start of the season.
15 start. It's 33rd Rays rookie pitcher this season. That is the most in the major leagues. He entered 2015, rated by Baseball America as the number 7 prospect in the Rays organization and number 2 pitching prospect. He has had 1 career appearance versus the Blue Jays. That was a start last September at Rogers Center. He earned his first career victory, beating Jay Happ in that game 1-0. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts. He became the first in franchise history to go 7+ innings, allowing 2 hits or fewer in his Rays debut. He's got a good fastball and a good curveball.
Carnes is 27 years old. He was drafted out of Texas Tech by the Washington Nationals. Defensively, David DeJesus is back in left field. Kevin Kiermaier plays very well in center. In the right fielder is Brandon Guyer. It's Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Jake Elmore. That's the consistent infield we've seen in this series. Kurt Casale is behind the plate. He makes his first start in this series, and he'll be handling Nathan Carnes today.
And over at third base, the great Evan Longoria, the former Gold Glove winner. He ranks second among Major League third basemen with a .976 fielding percentage. He started all 162 games last year for the Tampa Bay Rays. This year he has started all but 2 games this year. That's been the one consistent with this team, having that guy in his lineup.
Well, he makes sure no one gets distracted. He keeps everybody focused. They all keep their nose to the grindstone because of Evan Longoria and the way he goes about his business. So we are set. The Blue Jays trying to win the series here. It's always been a tough spot for him. For the season, the Jays are just 2-7 in 9 games between these two. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is in there, and we are underway. Jose Reyes, the leadoff man. He was 0 for 4 in last night's game. He has a home run in 9 at-bats, the only hit down here in St. Pete. The fastball might have been off the plate.
Looked like it might have been off the plate. Diving down and away. Carnes is one of those pitchers, you got to get him early. If he starts finding that release point, getting that good curveball in there, he gets tougher and tougher as the day wears on.
He wins that first matchup with Reyes as he strikes him out with that breaking ball. 1 down for Carnes.
Fastball, a couple of fastballs, and then finishes them off with that good downer curveball. He creates a lot of spin on that breaking ball. 3-pitch strikeout for the first batter.
Josh Donaldson in the 2 spot. Donaldson's run into a bit of a rough spot here lately. Over his last 10 games, just 6 hits. 6 for 40, a 150 average. But he's still right there at 300, batting .298 for the season. This is popped up behind the screen and out of play.
And that is why John Gibbons wanted to give him the day off the other day. Felt like he might be slowing down just a little bit. Playing pretty much every single day, every inning just about for the Blue Jays.
Well, and he gives you everything he's got emotionally as well. Not only does he play hard, but he's on the bench. He's talking up his teammates. He's always trying to get everybody inspired. That takes a toll on you. There's another breaking ball. It catches the inside corner. Home plate umpire is Ben May. He's the least experienced of this 4-man crew. Another breaking ball hit on the ground. Asdrubal Cabrera barehands it. Wow, that looked like Donaldson was across the bag. What a play by Cabrera. He takes a play out of Donaldson's book and bare hands it at shortstop.
You know, I didn't think he had any chance of getting Josh Donaldson early in the ball game. It's very soft around home plate, so this ball just dies. But Asdrubal Cabrera comes up firing with that bare hand, and from that angle, it looks like just before Donaldson reaches the bag, the ball is in the glove.
His foot is in the air when that ball hits the glove, and Donaldson indeed is thrown out in a nice defensive play by Cabrera. 2 down. Bautista the batter. Breaking ball off the plate inside.
Well, I like that front door breaking ball that he's throwing against the right-handers. Trying to freeze them.
There's another breaking ball for his strike. Jose has had a great month of June. He has hit his way back into prominence in the offensive categories in the American League.
You know, you talk about the great numbers. He's got 15 home runs and 50 RBIs. But what I like to see, when he homers, Blue Jays are 10-3. So this is the guy that really makes the offense go for the Blue Jays.
Pops this from back in our direction. Now you see his numbers for his last 26 games. In the month of June, Bautista has walked 19 times. He's hit 8 home runs and driven in 20. Curveball downstairs.
Another long at bat for Bautista, making that pitcher work here in the first inning.
Encarnacion is on deck. Full count, 2 outs. Hit hard. Longoria backhand, throws from foul territory, and Nathan Karns has a quick first inning. 3 up, 3 down. Another good play infield. Marco Estrada will take them out when we come back. Team in the major leagues to have a winning record when they average fewer than 4 runs a game. Take a look at their lineup. Kevin Kiermaier, top of the order, has had a good series. He's hitting .500 for the series, and he scored 3 runs. He also plays Gold Glove caliber center field. And Evan Longoria has always been tough on the Blue Jays, and this year is no exception. He's 13 for 28 this season with an OPS of 1.127. Longoria is a tough guy to figure out. No particular patterns work against Longoria.
Yeah, and he makes the adjustment as the game goes along. Marco Estrada, his 10th start of the season. I don't think we saw Estrada better this year than the last time out. Threw a season high 118 pitches, pitched into the 8th inning, gave up just 1 hit to the hot-hitting Baltimore Orioles. Marco said he would have stuck around for 200 pitches if it meant he had a chance to get that no-hitter. But much better. 15 games this year, 5-3 with a .392 earned run average. He's been a nice surprise for the Blue Jays.
This is Kevin Kiermaier, the leadoff man. He goes after the first pitch and pops it into left field. Chris Colabello is back in left this afternoon. He makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Marco Estrada. Take a look at the rest of the Blue Jays defense in the outfield. Colabella was not in left field in last night's game. He's back there this afternoon. Pilar and Bautista in center and right, respectively. Josh Donaldson and Jose Reyes on the left side of the infield. Brian Goins and Edwin Encarnacion on the right side. And Deanna Navarro teams up with Marco Estrada for Estrada's second straight start.
Yeah, and a quick turnaround for the Blue Jays from last night's game. Russell Martin is in the lineup as a designated hitter. Deanna Navarro gets to start his 9th start at catcher this season. And you're right, he was behind the plate when Marco pitched that gem last time.
Estrada took a no-hitter into the 8th last time out. This is Joey Butler. He's had a good series against the Blue Jays. Breaking ball hit on the ground right to Reyes. 2 up, 2 down for Estrada. Marco has won 4 straight games. He has a 4-0 record in the month of June. And if you look at his numbers, they're impressive across the board.
Started the season in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Pitched very well there. And then when there was an opening, it was a natural just to put him in the starting rotation. And he has responded. 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. Yeah, he's getting the support, yes, and helping him win the games. But he's also pitching a lot better. He's starting to use that curveball just a little bit more. He's using it as a finishing pitch now, and he's got one of the best changeups in the American League.
Marco's gaining a lot of confidence with each start as well. This is popped into the seats off the bat of Evan Longoria. Longoria 274 for the season, 7 homers and 33 RBIs. Longoria was the Rookie of the Year in 2008. And Estrada pumps that fastball right by him.
Oh, this is when Longoria gets tough right here with 2 strikes. You think you can get him down and away and they'll just shoot the ball the other way. We saw that last night, taking the ball to right field to pick up a hit. Looks like they're going out there again.
Good fastball. Longoria grew up in Southern California, same as Estrada. And they both played at Long Beach State.
So that had to really hurt Marco when he drilled him earlier this year. Remember that?
He had to. And they were going back and forth in a Chris Archer matchup, and it called for it, and he hit him right in the hip.
Evan had to leave the ball game. Went down to first base and left the ball game. Former teammates in college going at each other.
Change up, down and away. Longoria went to St. John Bosco High School in Long Beach. Same place that Nomar Garcia Parra went to high school. Pretty good high school baseball program. Change up and Longoria strikes out. Well, the starters are both off to a good start. They've retired the sides in order. After 1, it's a scoreless game here in St. Pete.
hitting streak, but it has been his defense that has really stole the headlines. 2 fantastic catches again last night. The pitchers have nothing but great things to say about him. Pilar told me today that winning a Gold Glove to him would be the pinnacle of his career from a personal standpoint. As far as him running into the walls, as we saw him do last night, he says when he was very young, his father told him, play center field like you're a wide receiver. You're going to get hit whether you make the catch or not, so you may as well at least make that attempt. And he sure shows no fear when it comes to crashing into that wall. Buck?
Barry, that's a great analogy, and it's very similar to the position. Play center field like you're a wide receiver. You're going to catch the ball, you're going to get hit. In football, of course, you're going to get hit by a defensive back. In baseball, you're going to run into a wall. That's great advice. I've never heard that before, but that's a good analogy.
And you need that type of mentality to play center field, don't you? That determination out in center field. We've got 2 of the best in the American League going at each other in this series.
Maybe 2 of the best in baseball when you look at Kevin Kiermaier and Kevin Pilar. This is Edwin Encarnacion. Fastball off the plate inside. Edwin hit a home run in the ninth to make it a 1-run deficit. Came with 1 out off Brad Boxberger.
You know what was the best thing about that at-bat that Edwin had in last night's ball game? He was all over the fastball. I think that's something that he has been chasing around the strike zone, chasing around breaking balls, and then he's letting good fastballs go by.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle for Edwin recently, and I believe, just by watching him swing the bat, that shoulder is still a concern. I don't think he gets full extension with that left hand and get it through the zone the way we have seen him in the past.
I tell you, he never gets cheated. The way he swings the bat, how hard it is, it shows that he's healthy.
He is 2 for 31 this season against Tampa Bay. Breaking ball pulled foul past third.
I think if you get ready to hit the fastball first and foremost, you can recognize the breaking ball a lot better. Vice versa, if you're looking for a breaking ball, if you're chasing them around the strike zone and then they try to throw you the fastball, you can't pull the trigger. You got to start thinking about hitting the fastball first.
That's ball 4, so Encarnacion in his mind walks for a second time in this at bat. Leadoff man's aboard here in the second.
And it brings up a hot hitter for the Blue Jays, Diana Navarro. And boy, does he ever love hitting in this ballpark. Let's take a look at where those pitches have been in this series. Look where they are, up and away. And he has crushed those pitches. 3 fastballs and 2 sliders. He's hit a couple of home runs on balls that have been away from him, where he can extend those arms and extend that bat and get it up into the air.
Diana Navarro was a big part of this franchise when he came here in 2007. He was the everyday catcher for them in a World Series year in 2008. Provided great leadership behind the plate. One of the most vivid images I have of that season is he and Matt Garza having an argument and an altercation in the dugout in Texas against the Rangers.
I remember that.
He really took ownership of that pitching staff, and that's when they took off. Jim Hickey was very complimentary of the job that Navarro did for them behind the plate. Diana's now 31 years old. The switch hitter can certainly swing the bat.
Boy, working him away this whole at bat.
There's Jim Hickey, the great pitching coach of this Tampa Bay's team, and he and Navarro worked very closely with that good pitching staff they had in 2008. Strike 3 call. Navarro didn't agree with it. Thought it was off the plate inside.
And I better get that call when I'm behind the plate this afternoon. Everything was away, and then he took 1 shot on the inner half. It looked like it might have been a cut fastball. And Navarro, who's got an excellent eye at the plate, thought that ball was inside.
Second strikeout for Carnes. Russell Martin at DH this afternoon. Russell had a tough night last night, not only dealing with the knuckleball of R.A. Dickey. It's some tough balls in the dirt. A couple of frustrating plays defensively. That ball gets away from Casale, and Encarnacion moves into scoring position. That wasn't much of an effort by Casale. He tried to backhand and just went off his glove. It's a wild pitch charge to the pitcher, but that's a ball the catcher's got to get.
Yeah, that might be on the catcher right there. Never shuffled his feet to get over there to try and block that, and Encarnacion can head down to second base, takes the double play out of order. Ball away from, really never had a shot at it.
2-0. Casale making his 4th start behind the plate. Encarnacion now at second, and that takes the Blue Jays out of that double play situation. This is popped up into center field.
Headwind's going. There's only one out.
There were. How about that? Boy, that's too bad. Encarnacion thought that was the 3rd out of the inning. He was jogging around the bases. Rivera was trying to get him to go back, but it was much too late. Kevin Kiermaier will complete the double play. A mental mistake here early in the ball game for the Blue Jays. Encarnacion went to second on the pop-up, thinks there are 2 outs, and runs into a double play.
Internet to select Rogers Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry. Offer ends soon. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. It is a beautiful day down here in St. Petersburg. That is the Clearwater Beach area, not far from this ballpark. Blue Jays will return home after this game. They'll have Thursday off before they welcome in the Texas Rangers for a weekend series. Edwin Encarnacion forgot how many outs there were, and you would think that he may have heard the third base coach, but when he heard Rivera, he thought maybe the ball had dropped, and he turned and went for home.
He ran faster towards home plate. It's not real loud in this ballpark. You would think that he'd hear get back. There's only 1 out. You know, you're in scoring position, and you got to figure runs are going to be tough to come by against this Rays pitching staff, so you can't make mistakes like that.
This is David DeJesus, the cleanup hitter. Off the end of the bat, Goins waits at second. 1 down. 4 straight retired by Estrada to start the game.
Second baseman, number 11, Logan Forsythe.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Logan Forsythe, the second baseman, bats with 1 out. Fouls that ball off. Reach for the outside pitch.
Forsythe's done a good job against the Blue Jays this year. .321 batting average. He's raised his average over the last 9 games, nearly 30 points. He's been hot lately, and the Blue Jays are going to have to be careful with him.
9 for 28 against the Jays, including a home run. He hit a home run in this series. 0-2. Fastball, they mixed it up a little bit. Estrada likes to use his changeup on 2 strike counts, but that time he got the fastball by him.
I think he has to establish his fastball early in the game. I think it just makes his curveball better, and it makes his changeup a lot better also. So you have to establish that, and I think you have to put it in the mind of those hitters. And he does it again.
Fastball.
Up and away.
2 strikeouts now for Estrada, and he did mix it up. He used that fastball, and it looks a little bit harder when you're thinking breaking ball.
Now, first time through the lineup, you can pitch these guys one way, and Estrada can do that. He can use the fastball a little bit more. And then the second time through, maybe a little bit different. You can use your curveball. He did that in that start against Baltimore. He started using the curveball a little bit more second, third time through. And then he still has that changeup.
Shortstop Asdrubal Cabrera had a big home run in last night's game. He had a 1-out home run in the 8th to make it a 2-run game, which turned out to be the pivotal run of the ball game. The Blue Jays scored a run in the 9th, but they lost 4-3. Cabrera is now 29 years old. He is from Puerto de la Cruz, Venezuela. He's in his 9th major league season. Signed originally by the Seattle Mariners, was traded from Seattle to Cleveland in June of 2006. He went around.
He's really solidified this defense. He's got a .991 fielding percentage. That's the best among American League shortstops this year. He's only made 2 errors this season.
It's really kind of interesting. He didn't have a real strong season last year fielding. High fastball has popped up right back our way. Last year, when he went from Cleveland to the Nationals, he played second base, and he played well at second base.
Yeah, the knock on him in Cleveland was he had lost range and he couldn't play shortstop. I think he made 14 errors last year as a shortstop. This year he's been outstanding.
It's amazing how when players get bounced around and get traded from team to team, how if they still are in their prime, which Cabrera is, they get refocused, and the defense has been improved. No fastball, another strikeout. Marco Estrada is using his fastball very effectively early in this game. He's retired 6 straight, 3 on strikeouts, and the fastball has proven to be an effective pitch early.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful shot of the harbor here in St. Petersburg, not far from the Blue Jays team hotel. Weather has been very, very rainy and lots of thunderstorms in the area, but today is the exception. It's terrific outside.
Tough to come down here, isn't it, every year? 3 times a year? Eesh.
Beautiful part of the world. Chris Colabello back in the lineup. Colabello was not in the lineup. A couple of reasons. First of all, Chris Archer was pitching. They put the left-handed bat in the lineup. Secondly, he got hit on his left index finger on a slide at second base, trying to break up 2. Knocked that fingernail back and got a nasty bruise, but it's his left index finger. He's got it padded, but it shouldn't be a concern today.
Tell you what, it was ugly when he showed it to us yesterday.
There's a high fly ball down toward the Rays. A bullpen. Geyer is over. He's got room. Makes a nice catch. He stayed with it. Got down into that bullpen area. He was in left field in last night's game. He moves across the diamond to right this afternoon.
Pretty nice catch to help out Nathan Carnes. Last 10 starts, look at what Carnes has done. He's starting to blossom into another one of those Rays starters who give you a lot of innings and good innings. 277 earned run average. The problem, he hasn't had anything to work with. Total run support in those 10 starts, just 18 runs to work with.
That's a couple of good starts for a Blue Jays starter. Not a course of 10. This is Kevin Pillar. Pillar is riding an 8-game hit streak. He's got his average up to 270.
276 home runs, 34 RBIs. He's also scored 40 runs this year. What a benefit to have somebody this hot at the bottom of the order like that. He's going to score a lot of runs if he gets on base.
And I think John Gibbons has done a great job, even though Pillar is hitting so well in the month of June, 392. He hasn't moved him out of that 8th spot, trying to make sure they turn that lineup over. Pillar is the 4th highest batting average in baseball in the month of June. Michael Franco of the Phillies hitting 415. Miguel Cabrera 397. Jason Kipnis 392, and then Kevin Pillar at 392. Kipnis hitting 394.
You mentioned it, 29 hits already in the month of June. Don't change anything.
Well, you got to give him a lot of credit after his horrible month of May. He never gave up, and he just went to work a little bit harder.
Try to eliminate that leg kick, slow that body down just a little bit, use your hands.
That's a good changeup. Best changeup we've seen so far from Nathan Carnes.
Carnes has got good stuff. Told you about the start he had back at Rogers Center last September, where he had 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. He only gave up 2 hits against the Blue Jays. Started in the Washington Nationals organization. In fact, both starters started in the Washington Nationals organization.
This is the number 9 hitter, Ryan Goins. He goes after the first pitch, a 1 hopper to short. Nathan Carnes. Terrific inning. Just 9 pitches for Carnes, and the Blue Jays are retired in order.
This meeting, how about Rogers Center? Get a Blue Jays Acura luxury suite. It's perfect for those meetings and taking in a baseball game at the same time. Account executives will find the package that best suits your needs. Go to bluejays.com/luxury suites for more information. Nothing better taking in a little baseball and a little business at the same time, Buck.
Mary, it's a great formula for success. Bring your clients out to Rogers Center and impress them with a suite, watch the ball game, have a nice lunch, and maybe you can do a little business as well. So we move to the bottom of the third. Both pitchers off to a good start here. Nathan Carnes threw 3 innings. Marco Estrada has set down 6 straight. Brandon Guyer, Jake Elmore, and Kurt Casale will bat for the Rays here in the third.
Marco struck out 3 of the first 6 batters that he has faced. The changeup is working. He's using that fastball a little bit more than we normally see.
Brandon Guyer is playing in right field this afternoon. That little cutter off the end of the bat has popped out of play.
You know, that's a pitch that Marco wanted to try and work with, experiment with this season, that cutter, using it against the right-handers just to try and get him off of his fastball. He said he has found that that cutter has been very effective against left-handers when he jams them with it.
All right, that's a good pitch. The fastball. Guyer had squared around to bunt, and it was right on the inside corner for strike 2. Navarro's done a good job of using that fastball in the first 2 innings. Change up, check swing. Donaldson fields, throws in the dirt, scooped by Encarnacion. Nice play on both ends of that ground out. Donaldson with the scoop threw the ball in the dirt, but it was dug out by Encarnacion at first base.
And Guyer can run. Even though it was a check swing from the right side, he gets down that line quickly. You can see with 2 strikes, Donaldson's playing deep, throws on the run, and there's the dig right there by Encarnacion to record the out over at first base. Nice play by both of them.
This is Jake Elmore, the first baseman. Elmore has played with 4 different teams the last 4 years. Bounced around a bit. Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, and now Tampa Bay. He's kind of like Steve Thomason in that he can play on the infield, play a little first base, do a lot of different things. He's a career .234 hitter.
Playing because James Loney is on the disabled list. And if you're going to be a bench player in the major leagues, you got to do something to help your team win that day. When they put you in there, can't hurt the team, but you've got to do something to help them. Maybe get a big base hit, make a play in the field, steal a base, do something that day to help out.
Yeah, it's really important that you're a good enough defender that you don't lose games. So that's first and foremost. And then if you get a knock, play hit and run, maybe drop down a sacrifice bunt, do something to contribute to a win, then you become more valuable.
And you know what? And you can play for as long as you want if you're able to do that, because baseball's always looking for players like that.
Well, Estrada, he threw that fastball away. Elmore strikes out. Marco Estrada right now is pitching with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you know what he's doing too? He's putting in the minds of the Tampa Bay Ray hitters that he's going to use his fastball. And we'll watch him second time through if he changes up just a little bit more. But right now, if that fastball's working, no need to change.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is the number 9 hitter and catcher, Kurt Casale. Casale catching for the 4th time this season. Bobby Wilson was with the team early in the season. He has since been sent back to AAA. You know, Casale's been watching nothing but fastballs, and Estrada drops a couple of hooks on him.
Go figure.
Why me? I'm the number 9 hitter. Now he can elevate that fastball. Another breaking ball, and Casale lays off. Casale was drafted and signed by the Tigers. He was acquired by Tampa Bay in a trade in exchange for the left-hander Kyle Obstein. That took place in the spring of 13. There's the high fastball for the strikeout. 5 strikeouts. First time through the order for Marco Estrada. Using that fastball very effectively. 9 up, 9 down.
Tonight, and you can see it all on Sportsnet. It's the 2015 NHL Awards. Who will be the Hart Trophy winner? You'll find out 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on Sportsnet. And Buck, I can bet it's going to be a fun night in Vegas.
You bet. It's always a fun night in Vegas, but then you mix in a little hockey awards show, and it should be a terrific night. Make sure you check it out a little bit later on tonight. They really do a great job of identifying their award winners and putting on a big party for them. It's become like a Oscars event or an Emmy Awards party. Back to the top of the order for the Blue Jays. Both pitchers have faced the minimum to start this game. Nathan Carnes walked in Encarnacion, but he ran into a double play when he forgot how many outs there were. This is popped up in shallow center. Cabrera goes out. He gets there and makes the catch. Tampa Bay is in first place, and they have always done a great job of pitching, and they've stayed healthy most of the time, but this year it's a different story.
But the result doesn't change. Alex Cobb on the disabled list with Tommy John. He's out for the season. Matt Moore should be coming back. He had Tommy John last year. They've lost Drew Smiley to a torn labrum. That was on May the 9th. Then on June the 9th, an oblique injury to Jake Odorizzi. So 4 of their 5 starters on the disabled list right now who were planning to start this season for the Tampa Bay Rays, but nothing's changed. They're still in first place.
They are still in first place. They are still pitching well as a team, and they never miss a beat.
Part of the reason, I think, and we talked about it the other day, is they do such a good job when they want to make trades with other organizations, going out and recognizing the talent in the other organization and trade for it.
Donaldson gets jammed, and Forsythe will throw him out. 2 up, 2 down here in the 4th. Well, you make a great point. Tampa Bay has had a reputation for taking somebody else's pitcher, and if he's had success in the past, bringing him back to that success level, or if he's never had success, giving him something that'll bring out the best in him. And Jim Hickey, they call him the sorcerer here. And the hitting coach, Derek Shelton, asked him, hey, can you sprinkle a little of your dust on my hitters? Bautista hits a line drive to left. De Jesus runs it down. Another 3 up, 3 down inning. This time it takes Cards just 6 pitches to retire the side in order.
Perfect for autographs, and you can have one of these if you head to the Blue Jays game on June 28th. It's Blue Jays White Panel Hat Day presented by Jack Links. The Jays host the Rangers at 1:07, and the first 20,000 fans will receive one of these Blue Jays White Panel hats. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. It's a Sunday, Buck, and I think we've got to push to get the Blue Jays in those caps as well.
That'd be a nice little twist for an alternate uniform to bring those caps back. They're very sharp looking and represent some of the real good years for the Blue Jays when they wore those white panel hats. The first pennant, first division championship, 1985 for the Blue Jays.
Distinguishing hats. Yeah, you always knew it was the Blue Jays when you saw it.
Kevin Kiermaier will lead things off. Kiermaier shows bunt, takes it inside.
And everybody has shortened up with Kiermaier because he can run so well. Even a routine ground ball to one of the infielders, you've got to be on your toes because this guy runs as hard as anybody to first base. Every single time.
Off the plate, it's 2-0. Marco Estrada has retired 9 straight. He has 5 strikeouts first time through the order.
And he's doing it a little bit different. He's not using that great changeup just yet to pick up those strikeouts. He's been using that fastball a little bit more first time through.
4 of his 5 strikeouts have been on the heater. Pull to first base. Encarnacion will go to the bag.
That's a little bit different pattern that we have seen from Estrada in his last start. He was using his changeup and his curveball just a little bit more.
So with 1 out, Joey Butler will step in. Butler grounded out on a curveball. It grounded at shortstop. Estrada had a no-hitter into the 8th in his last start against Baltimore, but he had a much different beginning to that ball game than the one here this afternoon. There's another curveball. Backhanded by Reyes across his body on the money. Jose Reyes, recognizing Butler's ability to run, unloaded in a hurry, makes a fine defensive play in support of Marco Estrada.
He knows he can run. He doesn't have time to plant that right foot and fire across the diamond. What's impressive about that, yes, the throw, it's got something on it, but the accuracy, throwing on the run like that and all the way across the diamond by a half a step getting the runner.
2 out, 7 Longoria. First pitch changeup. mixing it up very effectively. Oh, and 2. Well, one thing's for sure right now. Marco Estrada has the Rays in swing mode. He's thrown enough strikes that they are going to expand their zone. And we mentioned the difference in his last start. Estrada had 4 walks in the first 3 innings.
In the first 3 innings, that really got that pitch count up there. So when he finished with a season high 118, it was in the 8th inning. And I think that's why he has used his fastball just a little bit more here in the early going. Use the fastball and put that in the minds of those Tampa Bay Ray hitters.
Very efficient so far for Estrada. He's only thrown 14 balls. Why I love that. It just gives you so much confidence in the infielders. They see strike after strike. They're all engaged. He hasn't walked a batter, so they anticipate some sort of action. There's a high pop lifted into center field. Pilar, the center fielder, calls for it. Another good inning for Marco Estrada. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 5th. It's a scoreless game. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
Now just a week away, the Tim and Sid Show will debut on Sportsnet on July the 1st. They will edutain you, and that is a Tim and Sid word, folks. We do not make these things up. To the sports masses, their new show will premiere on Sportsnet Connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid. And if you want to know what the show is out, you'll have to do exactly what I will do, along with Buck and Tabby, and that is tune in.
Good idea, Barry. That'll be Canada Day, July 1st, be after the ball game, and should be an interesting show. Great personalities. They bring out the best in each other, and I think you'll enjoy the new Tim and Sid show on television.
Very mysterious.
Mysterious.
When we had them on.
Intrigue. And they're going to break it up. They'll debut that show on July 1st. Here is Edwin Encarnacion. He walked and was doubled up when he lost count of how many outs there were.
He's been the only base runner today, either team.
In the whole ball game. Haven't had a hit yet. We've had just one walk. Defense has been keen early on. There's a little broken bat pop, and Forsythe will make the catch, and Encarnacion's retired.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That is Tropicana Field here in St. Petersburg, Florida, home of the Tampa Bay Rays. And it's always been a concern whether or not this ball club is going to get a new stadium in this Tampa Bay area. 2-0 Yonder Navarro goes after the first pitch. De Jesus comes in, makes a play on it. These pitchers are pitching like they've got an early dinner reservation. They are throwing nothing but strikes.
Yeah, they're throwing strikes. They're using their fastball, and Carnes is using his breaking ball a little bit more. He's got good stuff. He is physical. He's aggressive. He's attacking the hitters right now, and he's got the Blue Jay batters on the defensive. What's impressive about that, he's doing it economically. Blue Jays have a plus 80 run differential. That's the best in the major leagues, and they haven't got a hit yet against this guy.
Well, this is how the Rays roll. They pitch, they play defense. They don't score many runs. 2 outs, Russell Martin.
You were talking, we were talking last inning about recognizing players from other organizations. Carnes didn't start in this organization. It was a very astute trade by the Tampa Bay Rays. They sent Jose Lobaton to Washington for Nathan Carnes.
And he was the most recognizable of the 3 players they traded. So you got to give them credit. And I think as an organization, what they do is they sit down with Jim Hickey and say, what do you want in a pitcher? What do you want that pitcher to look like? Well, give me a pitcher that's about 6'3". He's got long arms. He can command the fastball. And we'll teach him a changeup.
Yeah.
And basically that's their foundation for success. And they take everything else and build from those 2 pitches.
Last night's starter did not start in this organization.
Russell Martin is called out on strike 3. Both pitchers are locked in early in this ball game. We've played 4.5. Still no score.
The MLB All-Star Game July the 14th. He was 1.5 million votes behind. Last week, he is now just 33,000 behind. Go to BlueJays.com to cast your vote for Josh Donaldson to start the All-Star Game. And guys, a guy who was getting a lot of attention early in the season as a possible first-time All-Star was Devin Travis. Of course, he's been on the DL for a while. He went over 3 with a couple of walks last night playing for the Buffalo Bisons. He's hitting just 160, but John Gibbons told us today he feels great physically, and at this point the plan is for him to rejoin the team on Friday, and he will resume the role he did so well, which is hitting 9th. And boy, is that a good 9th hitter on your team.
It sure is, Barry. He got up to a great start. He was the American League Rookie of the Year in the month of April. You'll remember, Pat, back in spring training, Devin Travis had a very slow start offensively in spring training. And it was about middle of the spring when everybody was looking at each other going, this guy's a good offensive player. And then we saw him really ramp it up in the second half and win the job.
You know, we haven't had a chance to see his at-bats. That ball is popped into center field. I would like to know what are his at-bats like. You know, because I talked to Gibby about that in spring training. I said, well, what did you see the first week or so in spring training with Devin Travis that you thought he would hit? He said he had good at-bats. He was taking tough pitches. He might be hitting the ball into some bad luck, but his at-bats were really good. I'd like to see what his bats are right now. Hits can be overrated.
I think the big stat that's important, he had 2 walks in the game yesterday, so that means he's seeing the ball well. So Eric Owens and Brooke Jacoby, the 2 hitting coaches, talk about Travis hitting the ball to right field. If he's hitting the ball to right field in AAA Buffalo right now, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign. That's what I want to look at.
So you have to just know what is going on there.
I don't think I used the right word. Hits being overrated. They're not the end all, I guess, when you're talking about a guy and how his rehab is going. If he's having good at bats, he'll get hits.
These 2 guys right here, Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens, have done a great job with this ball club. Yeah, they had good hitters in the past, but when you look at the individual numbers, how much they've improved in situational hitting. This has popped up on the infield. You really got to focus. This daytime roof is really a challenge. It's sunny on the outside. It's a translucent roof, so the bright sun will create added problems with that white roof and pop-up. So everybody has to converge on anything in the air.
Can't take your eye off the ball either. You watch that ball go up, and then you take your eye off it and see where you are on the field. Look back up. It's going to be gone.
2 outs now as Asdrubal Cabrera. He struck out on a fastball his first time up. Boy, Estrada has done exactly what he had hoped to do, get these Rays swinging the bats. So now they're anticipating strikes.
Another breaking ball. It's a team that's 25th in the major leagues in runs per game, Tampa Bay. So their game is to try and wait you out, walk a little bit, steal a base, hit and run, do a little bit of something. I think if you take it to him like he's doing, be aggressive, make him swing, you're going to get him out.
You saw the bench coach Tom Foley and the hitting coach Derek Shelton on the rail of the dugout. Shelton is really trying to get his hitters to be a little more aggressive and try to counteract these great pitches by going the other way. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sharply hit on the high fastball.
You know, when you watch Marco Estrada work and you watch Mark Burley work, they're very similar. You don't have to throw 95 to get big league hitters out. You got to move the ball around. You got to hit your spots, change speeds, location, a little bit of everything. You can get them out. Look at that pitch.
What a beautiful pitch. Fastball down and away. Another strikeout for Marco Estrada. We're through 5 innings. We haven't had a hit in the ball game. The Rays haven't had a base runner. Marco Estrada has 6 strikeouts. Everything's working for Estrada.
Blue Jays Flex Pack. You pick the game, seats, and save money. The deadline to purchase a 2015 Blue Jays Flex Pack is this Friday, June 26th. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. Buck?
Barry, that is a great opportunity if you look ahead to the second half schedule. There are so many good games on the schedule for the second half. Tampa Bay Rays will start the second half after the All-Star break with a 3-game weekend schedule. You look further into the season, Minnesota will be at home to Rogers Center for a 4-game series in August. The Yankees are there over the weekend, August 14th, 15th, and 16th. Detroit Tigers come to Rogers Center at the end of August, a 3-game series. Kansas City Royals are there too to start August, and they're a very good team, obviously.
4-game series against Kansas City, end of July, beginning of August.
Chris Colabello hits a high pop down the right field line. Brandon Geyer has good speed. He makes the catch in foul territory. Just another out. We've had our share of outs so far. Nathan Carnes and Marco Estrada have not given up a hit. There's only been one base runner in this ball game. And if you got any baseball fans that you know that happen to be at work, tell them to turn on the television. This is a special game. One out. Kevin Pillar takes one down and away. Nothing but zeros on the board. There's the first base hit of the ball game. Kevin Pillar with a 1-out single. Just the second base runner of the game.
Told you that he has been swinging a hot bat in the month of June. That's a 9-game hit streak now for Pillar. Rips that fastball in the inner half just past Longoria, who is starting to creep in, thinking that he might bunt his way on. So a good start here in the 6th for the Blue Jays.
For Pillar, that's his 30th hit in the month of June. You bet. You got to keep your eye on him the way things have gone.
You might take a chance right here to play hit and run. There's 1 out. He just gave up his first hit. We've seen John Gibbons in the past use the hit and run with these two right here, Pillar and Goins.
Not running here. Kurt Casale just catching for the 4th time. He hasn't had a base stealing attempt in the big leagues.
Sometimes you got to take it to him offensively.
The Rays think something might be up. They chase Pillar back. Kevin's been terrific in stealing bases. He's been caught just twice. He's 10 for 12 in stolen bases. There he goes. Hit and runs on, and Goins fouls it into the upper deck.
And unfortunately for the Blue Jays, that pitch was a tough pitch to get on the ground or even keep fair. Fastball up and away, and Goins had to swing at it.
As a hitter, would you ever swing through a hit and run if you sense the batter got a terrific jump?
Swing through it just to distract the catcher? I don't know if I was that good enough to do that, but I see your point. I've seen people do that. I've seen batters swing through it knowing that they can't make contact, but they're going to try and distract the catcher, and they do it again.
Pillar was running again. Another ball fouled back. Boy, those are the things that will catapult you into a contending category where you put the hit and run on and you don't foul it back. Put it in play. And I know Goins is trying to do that, but as Josh Donaldson said down in Houston, this is not the try league. This is the get it done league.
Well, give Carnes a little credit there. High fastballs, anticipating that they might hit and run. Tough to get that ball on the ground.
And now Goins strikes out. That backdoor breaking ball locks him up. That's 5 strikeouts for Carnes.
Number 7.
He's got a good breaking ball, and he's putting it in a good spot. That right on the outside corner. The check swing by Goins. And another strikeout. 5 strikeouts, 3 of them caught looking.
Back to the top of the order. Jose Reyes, he was a strikeout victim in the first. He's 0 for 2. But there's a lot of overs in this game today. Only 1 hit.
And I've got to try and get Kevin Pillar in scoring position right here. This is a great time to steal.
You got to gamble. Got your leadoff man at the plate. If it gets thrown out, Reyes will start the next inning. There he goes. He had a stutter step, didn't get a great jump. Ball goes into center, and Pillar didn't pick up on it. Boy, he had an unusual break at first base, a very choppy break. I don't know if he lost his footing or what, but he didn't have a typical Kevin Pillar jump at first, but he ends up at second.
Or he didn't read Carnes. Watch him right there. Just a stutter step, but it's still enough. He can get to second base with the stolen base. Credit Kevin Kiermaier in center field to back up quickly so Pillar can't advance. That's the first attempt against Kirk Casale this year.
2 outs, a 2-0 count for Reyes. Breaking ball in there for a strike. One thing we have seen throughout this series, Tampa Bay's starters, they can pitch backwards. They'll get you into a fastball count, and they'll get back into the count by throwing a breaking ball or a changeup. Archer did it all night long last night.
Did it with his slider. At times he did it with his changeup. Carnes looks like he's doing it with his breaking ball. I don't know if he's going to throw 3 in a row here.
Chris Archer with a terrific start last night. It proves to 3-0 against the Blue Jays, and there was a straight changeup. Continue to mixing it up in fastball counts.
Jose Reyes can turn on anybody's fastball, and he's had a nice little hot streak because he's been hitting fastballs. There are the numbers from Archer last night. 1 earned run in 8 innings.
Lots of kids in that house today. There goes Pillar. He breaks for third, and there'll be no throw. So Pillar steals third while Reyes takes ball 4.
With 2 outs, you can see the infield deep, and he read Carnes that time. Steals it without a throw. Picked on a breaking ball.
So now Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, sprinting out of the Rays dugout, goes out to the mound. This is a twofold meeting. He is talking with Casale first and foremost, the catcher. So what he's done is he's brought the message on a steal attempt from Kevin Cash. If he breaks, we're not going to throw through.
Yeah, there's no question that he's got a message here. He's doing all the talking right here. Exactly what they want to do in this situation, first and third. And what are we going to do with Josh Donaldson?
Well, and too, Hickey oftentimes will do this with his pitchers, where he will go out there and present them the approach for the hitter to take all the responsibility off their shoulders, and that really frees up a pitcher. This is what I want you to do to Donaldson. First pitch, breaking ball. Josh has grounded out twice, as Hugo Cabrera made a nice play on a barehanded grab in the first to throw him out. First and third, a scoreless game. We're in the 6th. Now you can see why Tampa Bay is at the top of the division. They pitch well.
They pitch well. They play defense. They have a deep bullpen. Josh Donaldson grinding this one out.
Tampa Bay leads the American League coming into this game with a team ERA of 3.33. They're ahead of Oakland, Kansas City, and Houston.
What's impressive about that is they pitch in the American League East. And not the teams, it's the ballparks. Small ballparks in the American League East.
1-2. Breaking ball down and away.
Are you pitching Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium, Rogers Center, Oriole Park? It's a good hitter's ballpark too. All 5 of the stadiums in the American League East are good hitter's ballparks.
I would try to start Reyes right here on a 2-2 pitch. There he goes. Donaldson takes ball 3.
There was the message right there. If he does steal, let him go. Nobody cover.
Stolen base for Reyes. His 10th. Bautista on deck. Blue Jays trying to break through against Nathan Carnes. Ball 4. Donaldson walks. That's the 3rd walk issued by Carnes.
And the second this inning, setting up Jose Bautista. No place to put him.
Bautista, the leader of the pack since 2010 in home runs. Of course, 2010 is his 50 home run season. He's ahead of Cabrera, Stanton, Pujols, and Edwin Encarnacion, who's 5th. Blue Jays have relied heavily on the home run. They've hit 5 in this series. Popped up straight over the third baseman. Longoria comes in. Carnes gets out of it. He gets Bautista to pop up with the bases loaded. We've played 5.5. Just 1 hit in the ball game, and it's scoreless.
IP road trip to catch the Blue Jays in Seattle? Just tweet a photo showing your Blue Jays spirit using hashtag RoamOn and hashtag Blue Jays contest for your chance to win. Visit BlueJays.com/RoamOn contest for full details, and whomever wins this prize, do not be afraid to pack your Blue Jays gear, because you will not be the only Jays fan at Safeco Field. Buck?
If you are the only Jays fan that's not dressed up in blue, you'll be the only one, that's for sure, because everybody else comes there and they're all decked out, and it is a Blue Jays celebration at Safeco Field. That's a weekend series, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so make sure you get there. Brandon Guyer takes strike 1. The bottom third of the order here in the 6th. This is popped up, playable over near the Rays dugout. Navarro gets there, and Guyer's retired. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
First baseman Jake Elmore.
Cleveland making some roster moves. Buck Farmer just called up by the Tigers. Carlos Carrasco on the mound. He's allowed just one hit through 4 1/3. Seems as though the pitchers have the upper hand in these day games today. Jake Elmore, the first baseman. He's late on that fastball.
It's almost like the Ray hitters are looking off-speed pitch for Marco Estrada, and they're surprised at an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, and they're late.
Marco Estrada began the season last year in the rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers. He made his last start on June 19th. The Brewers called up Jimmy Nelson, a young pitcher, and Nelson took Estrada's spot in the rotation. So he pitched the second half of the season exclusively out of the bullpen. He made 21 appearances for the Brewers and actually pitched very well in relief, same as he did with the Blue Jays to start this season.
Did we see him last year as a starter with the Brewers?
Yeah, right at the end of his run, he got beat in Rogers Center. Blue Jays hit a couple of home runs off of him, and that was near the end of his run as a starter. Change up downstairs. Marco made that start on Canada Day last year, and the Blue Jays beat him 4-1. Home runs by Bautista and Colby Erasmus. Good fastball. He's had a good fastball today. Been in the upper 80s, low 90s all afternoon, but his location has been better.
Yeah, it's been great. This is a lot like his last start against Baltimore, where he had that no-no into the 8th inning. Spotting his fastball, using the curve, using his changeup. Not afraid to use that changeup with 2 strikes.
Here, Casale, the catcher and number 9 hitter, is on deck. Ball and the bat go back to the backstop as he lost the grip on that bat. He flung it up against the screen. Estrada last season made 18 starts for the Brewers. He was 7-6. The start on Canada Day was his second to last start. He made one more start on the 7th of July, and then he was done for the season as a starter.
Boy, what an at-bat right here by Jake Elmore.
9-pitch at bat. He found off that last changeup. Elmore batting .253 for the season. Filling in for the injured James Loney. Elmore playing at first base today. Another pop straight back.
Well, he hasn't thrown him a curveball, I do not believe. It's been fastball changeup for 10 pitches. If he throws him a curveball, he might lock him up.
He might be swinging, that's for sure. Navarro with a set of signs. Estrada has it. Another foul straight back, another fastball. The Rays have not had a base runner. There's a fly ball hit deep, but Pilar was shaded in that direction, and after a lengthy at bat, Elmore flies out to center.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful afternoon here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it's spectacular inside. Both pitchers are locking horns in a pitcher's duel. Kurt Casale goes after the first pitch. There is nothing quite as beautiful as a well-pitched game.
Yeah, you just watch them go about their business, hit their spots, and Blue Jays are an excellent hitting team, and what Carnes is doing to them is impressive. This is a team, the Tampa Bay Rays, they're just a .500 team here at home, and they've been outscored by 15 runs. But still, you're pitching on the road in an opponent's ballpark, and you're doing what he's doing. It's been impressive.
Sally fouls it off. Marco Estrada, his last start against the Orioles, a very good hitting ball club. He carried a no-hitter into the 8th. He had a career high in pitches. Changeup, strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Marco Estrada. The Rays, through 6 innings, have not had a base runner. Estrada is hitting on all cylinders. This time the changeup results in the strikeout.
Ladies, Jays Food Drive goes in support of Food Banks Canada this weekend, June 26th to 28th, as the Jays host the Rangers. During the series, bring your non-perishable food items and cash donations to gates 3, 5, 10, and 13. Grab bags available for monetary donations. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. We head to the 7th, Edwin Encarnacion hacks at the first pitch. There has been 1 hit in this game. That came off the bat of Kevin Pillar with 1 out in the 6th. Nathan Carnes has walked 3, but he stranded the bases loaded in the 6th. He got Jose Bautista to pop out to the third baseman, Evan Longoria. There's a pop up into shallow center. Kiermaier was deep. He's not going to get there. Encarnacion has a leadoff single.
You know, Buck, I think Edwin might have hurt himself on that foul ball. The first pitch, he fouled it back, and he started grabbing his shoulder, and then swung through the next one. And just did not, yeah, you can see him feeling that left shoulder. This is the swing right here. You can see he drops that bat with his right hand, the left arm, bothering him as it lands fair. This is the pitch before that base hit. The swing, you can see him grimace a little bit, fouling that ball back. Whenever he lets go of that top hand, that's where he really feels it.
And Encarnacion took a cortisone shot in that left shoulder earlier this month. It has been bothering him for quite a while, but he is reluctant to come out of the lineup. But you can see the frustration on his face as he's dealing with that lead shoulder and the pain. That keeps him from extending through that hitting zone. Gianni Navarro, ball in the dirt. Encarnacion's going to move up. A wild pitch. That's how Encarnacion got the second back in the second inning. In the second, he walked and moved into scoring position on a wild pitch. Kevin Jepson is throwing for the Rays.
It's something that you can pull to that right side, Deanna Navarro.
Breaking ball inside.
Thought it was in. Right now, you got to get that runner over to third base with less than 2 outs. He has been very good at getting pitches on the outside part of the plate and hooking the ball to right field this series.
Outside, 3 balls and a strike. Russell Martin is the DH this afternoon. He's 0 for 2 so far. There's a ball he hooks, but well foul. Carnes has 5 strikeouts this afternoon to go along with 3 walks and 2 hits allowed. There's a base hit to right, and Carnacion had to hold up. Geyer gets it back in quickly, and back-to-back singles here in the 7th as Navarro continues to wear out Ray's pitching. That's his 6th hit in this series.
Yeah, and he does one better right there. Pulls the ball, yes, on this breaking ball, but pulls it into right field. Through the shift for yet another hit for Deanna Navarro. And that's going to spell the end of the afternoon for Nathan Carnes. What a job he did.
Terrific outing for Nathan Carnes. He will leave this ball game with nobody out in the 7th. Turn it over to the hard-throwing right-hander Kevin Jepson. Russell Martin will be the batter when we come back. Nobody out. It's a scoreless game. Marco Estrada all afternoon, and he goes 6 innings plus 2 batters. The runners on base are his responsibility. He's allowed just 3 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 5. He stranded the bases loaded in the 6th. And now he turns things over to Kevin Jepson.
Kevin Jepson has been real good for this team, the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, he's lost 5 games. He's been in 33, which is tied for 5th most in the American League. Pitching in these tough situations right here. Hard fastball and a hammer breaking ball.
First pitch strike to Russell Martin. Encarnacion singled. He's at third. Deanna Navarro singled. He's at first base. Nobody out. There's that hard breaking ball. It's in the dirt. Russell Martin, 308 average with runners in scoring position over the last 13 games. He's hit 327 coming into this game. This may be the biggest at bat of this game.
Yeah, it is right now. And who better than Russell Martin? He is going to really look over Jepsen. He sees a lot of pitches. They can throw strikes.
That's a high pop. Geyer's got a lot of range. He's going to let it drop on the bullpen mound. That was a long run. Encarnacion was camped out on the bag at third, anxious to see Geyer catch that ball. It's a scoreless game.
If he catches that ball, Blue Jays are going to have a run. He would have to deal with that mound down the right field line. Encarnacion was ready to go, and as an outfielder, you got to say, do I make the out here, or do I let it drop and hope for a strikeout or a double play?
2 balls and a strike. Now it's 2-2. Jepsen is another one of these pitchers that the Rays identified. He was with the Angels and had a couple good years with the Angels, but the last year or so he hasn't had the same good fortune. But they recognized his arm strength and the fact that he had grown up in a pitching-rich organization.
And the problem that he had when he was with the Los Angeles Angels, lack of control. He had walked too many batters, but you can't teach what he has, a lightning quick arm and a good breaking ball.
Russell Martin called out on strikes. Jepsen gets a huge strikeout here in the 7th.
Carries that fastball at 95 miles an hour to the lower parts of the strike zone, and it just freezes Russell. I think Russell might have been looking for something off speed, and he crossed him up with a fastball.
Kevin Jepsen a year ago made 74 appearances for the Angels. The oddity of that is he didn't record a win. He was 0-2 with a .263 earned run average. Total 65 innings of work. But he's had some good seasons pitching out of the pen. He came up in 2008 for the first time with the Angels. He has been a reliever exclusively in his major league career. Chris Colabello gets tied up with that inside fastball. Colabello has been one of the better clutch hitters for the Blue Jays all season long. He carries a .417 average with runners in scoring position.
He's come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays. He's also been very consistent getting his base hits. He's played in 43 games. He's had at least one hit in 36 of them. And they would love one right here.
Rays off that breaking ball, went around, tried to check his swing and went too far. 0-2. This is the first time Colabello has faced Jepsen.
He knows the scouting report. He's a really smart hitter. He knows what he features. But that's a lot different than going in there and facing him.
Oh, and 2. Colabello strikes out the high fastball. How about Kevin Jepsen coming into the game and striking out the first 2 he faces in the 7th?
His last appearance was 3 days ago at Cleveland, just 2/3 of an inning. So he's had 3 days to rest up a little bit, and it shows. His fastball's got some giddy up to it. Good fastball, good breaking ball. 2 up, 2 down so far.
Kevin Pillar, he's got a hit in 2 at bats, and Casale in to talk to Jepsen, and Longoria wants to get in on the conversation. Might help Longoria as to how they're going to pitch Pillar, whether or not he guards the line or plays off the line. Longoria is going to play deep at third. Pillar's got the ability to bunt.
Yeah, that's another part of it also. Kevin can bunt. He can push the ball to the right side also, or drop it down towards Longoria. And he can run.
2 outs. Fastball on the inside corner. One and 0. 0-1. Now it's 1-1. Jepsen was the losing pitcher in that game you mentioned in Cleveland in the 1-0 game. He came into the ball game late and gave up a couple of hits and a sacrifice fly. That was the only run scored. The final batter of the game got a sac fly off Kevin Jepsen.
And that's that 5th loss. I mean, you come into tight situations like that and you make one little mistake, you get a sacrifice fly and you pick up the L.
2-1 to Kevin Pillar. Pillar, with that single back in the 6th, now has 30 hits in the month of June. Chris Colabello has the most hits for the Blue Jays in a single month. He had 35 hits in the month of May. Popped up, shallow left field. Asdrubal Cabrera backs into the outfield. The Blue Jays leave 2 more base runners on. In the last 2 innings, the Jays have stranded 5. Kevin Jepsen comes out of the bullpen and puts out the fire in the 7th. Job today. He used his fastball early in the game, and that got him off to a great start.
It also got the Tampa Bay Ray hitters starting to go up there swinging at everything, and then he started using his curveball a little bit more. He started using the changeup just a little bit more. He started expanding against the Tampa Bay Rays. All told, Marco is now going to start the 7th inning. He has not given up a hit. He hasn't given up a base runner. And he's got 7 strikeouts. You combine that over his last 2 starts, and his numbers are sparkling.
Estrada, in back-to-back games, has not allowed a hit through 6 innings. The last Blue Jay to pitch similar ball games was Dave Steve in his last 2 starts of the season in 1988. Steve had no hitters through 6 innings. On September 24th at Cleveland against the Indians, and on September 30th at home against the Orioles. He lost both of those no-hitters and would eventually pitch back-to-back 1-hitters to end the season in '88. Kevin Kiermaier, the leadoff man. A scoreless game. You knew that was coming. He's such a terrific bunter. And although the Rays have not had a base runner reach base, it's a scoreless game. And Whatever it takes to get something going for the Rays or the Blue Jays for that matter. Doesn't make any
right.
difference.
Doesn't matter if it's a bunt or whatever. Blue Jays have left 5 runners the last 2 innings.
Here are fouls back to the pitch. Kevin Kiermaier is now 5 for 12 in the series. He's had a good series. Got to keep him off base. Inside. 2-2.
That came close, didn't it? Kept that elbow out over the plate. Got the pad on it on that front side elbow. He didn't pull it back, and he almost got a hit.
He gets jammed on that pitch. Jose Tabata of the Pirates against Max Scherzer with 2 outs in the 9th. Took a 2-2 pitch off the elbow pad. He was the only base runner to reach in Scherzer's no-hitter.
2-strike ball right off of his elbow.
Did he go around the appeal to third? Rob Drake says no swing. It's a full count. What would you throw him here?
Change up. I mean, it's been a good pitch for him. He hasn't shown it a lot this year or this game.
3-2. There's the changeup. Good call, Tabby. Strikeout, first out of the 7th. Strikeout number 8.
You know, it's really interesting what Marco Estrada does with 2 strikes. Let's take a look at the numbers for Estrada. Pitch usage with 2 strikes. In 2015, the changeup, 32%, but then when he gets to 2 strikes, that jumps up to 44.7%. The fastball usage goes down. So overall, he uses it about a third of the time until he gets to 2 strikes, and he jumps up to about 45%.
Joey Butler has grounded out twice to the shortstop on curveballs. You start him out with a fastball away. Ball on the strike. Strike 2. Boy, he's been dialed in all afternoon, hitting both corners.
Dealing with that fastball. That's 3 in a row now.
Estrada's heart rate probably a little bit lower than the last time out. He carried his no-hitter into the 8th. So he's been down this road before. Another changeup results in the strikeout. That's 9 strikeouts for Marco Estrada.
Boy, and another changeup. He bounced the previous pitch, previous changeup. This one a little bit better. He really winds up, throws that front side at that batter, the glove, everything, and then here comes the ball. A little bit slower, messes with the timing, and another strikeout swinging.
This is Evan Longoria, takes the high breaking ball. Longoria and Estrada were teammates in college at Long Beach State. Boy, that changeup is singing right now.
That's how you can get away with a fastball at 89, 90 miles an hour. A well-placed fastball, and then follow it up with a changeup.
Fly ball to right. Bautista over. He's got room. He gets there in foul ground and makes the catch. Great play by Jose Bautista going into the corner. He knows this ballpark very well. Marco Estrada is through 7. The defense has been on their toes all afternoon. Bautista makes the sliding catch. Estrada has not allowed a base runner through 7 innings.
More American League East rivals. It's the Orioles and the Red Sox tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on Sportsnet 1. Adam Jones not likely to play again today for Baltimore, but they had a big win last night against Big Papi and the Bo Sox. That's tonight on Sportsnet 1. Buck?
Great AL East action, and these two teams are banging heads. The Tampa Bay Rays have the lead in the East, 2 games, and Marco Estrada has been terrific through 7 innings. Ryan Goins goes after the first pitch from Jake McGee, and he grounds out. McGee into the ball game. The hard-throwing left-hander was late to the party. This is just his 15th appearance as he came off the disabled list and has rejoined this Rays bullpen.
Came off the DL on May the 15th. He's returning from off-season elbow surgery. So they're being very careful with this young arm. 21 strikeouts and just 1 base on ball for Jake McGee. He throws hard. He is the closer for this team.
Kevin Jepson, what a job he did. He inherited runners at first and third, nobody out, got strikeout, pop out. Reyes walked his last time up. Batting right-handed for the first time. Fouls head off the catcher's mask. One and 2 to Jose Reyes. It's a scoreless game. We're in the top of the 8th. Reyes strikes out. 2 down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Josh Donaldson will step to the plate with 2 outs. Nobody on, no score in the game. Donaldson's only had 2 at-bats against Jake McGee. And he played in opposite divisions until this season.
You're not going to get that many chances. He doesn't have a hit against him. You're going to get the fastball from him. That is an upper 90s, free, easy delivery fastball from McGee.
Ground ball, base hit for Donaldson. A 2-out base hit here in the 8th. That's the 4th hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon.
All singles for Toronto. It is indeed a fastball down right where Donaldson likes it. He's able to get the barrel through. Shoots it by Estribal Cabrera, the shortstop.
Donaldson doesn't run often, but he runs in good situations and picks his spots very prudently. Obviously, this is that type of situation. Bautista takes strike 1.
Yeah, McGee doesn't have one of those great moves over to first base, but I think they're going to let Bautista swing away here. Outfield very deep, trying to cut off any ball in the gap. You can see Kiermaier, the center fielder, deep.
Just in case Donaldson was thinking about running. The infield playing Bautista to pull. You got to believe McGee's going to pitch him inside where the defense is set up.
.95, and it looked like Bautista was off just a little bit, surprised by that pitch.
Looked like it had a lot of late movement.
Watch this swing by Bautista, off balance just a little bit. The follow through hit Casale, the catcher.
0-2. McGee strikes out Bautista. The Rays bullpen with 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 0-0 game. Now time for the Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn. Look at the line score for Marco Estrada. 7 innings, no hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, just 90 pitches through 7.
21 batters he has faced. He has struck out 9 of them. As he gets ready for the 8th inning, Marco Estrada has been doing his thing. He has been using that fastball very effectively. He's used his breaking ball effectively, and his changeup is getting better and better as the game has gone along.
In his last start, Estrada took the mound in the 8th inning without allowing a hit to the Orioles. David DeJesus takes one upstairs for a ball. The Tampa Bay Rays, since 2009, have been no-hit more than any club in baseball. They have been no-hit 4 times. Mark Burley threw a perfect game against him in July of 2009 in Chicago. Dallas Braden threw a perfect game in May of 2010 in Oakland. Arizona's Edwin Jackson no-hit him right here at Tropicana Field in June of 2010. And Felix Hernandez threw a perfect game against them in Seattle. So they have had 3 perfect games and a no-hitter thrown against them since 2009. DeJesus with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Now it's 3-1.
Get that first out in the inning. Make things a little bit easier for you. I think you got to challenge him, don't you?
You bet. He does, and gets the foul back.
That is where he has lived all afternoon, down and away with that fastball. You can see how difficult hitting is. Even in a fastball count, DeJesus gets a fastball, but because it was in such a great location, he couldn't do anything with it.
Logan Forsythe is on deck. Another foul. This is going to slice down the left side into the seats. Marco Estrada is one of 3 pitchers in the majors for the month of June that has gone 4-0. Marco Estrada, Chris Archer, who won his 4th game last night, and Garrett Cole of the Pirates, the only pitchers with 4 wins in the month of June. Popped up. Donaldson will go to the rail. He'll get there, dives in and caught it. Oh, what a play! Josh Donaldson, pulling a Derek Jeter, goes into the second row and makes a terrific play. That's 3 outstanding defensive plays in support of Marco Estrada, and Donaldson, he sold out and makes the play on David DeJesus.
You know, a guy is doing what he is doing on the mound. You got to give up your body. And that's exactly what Donaldson did. He's determined, I'm making this catch. Kudos to the Blue Jay fan backing off and letting him dive into the seats to make that play. Look at this. Wow, what a play by Donaldson.
What a play. 1 out. That's got to get everybody fired up, and Donaldson, he enjoyed it as much as anybody.
Yeah, so did he right there. Get that first out of the inning. Donaldson came up showing the umpire the ball that he made the catch.
Forsythe swings and misses. It's a ball and a strike. Down and away.
Tell you, every one of those defenders have got to say, I want the ball right here. You got to want the ball in this situation. Make a play for your pitcher.
Foul ball.
Everybody on their toes just a little bit more. Here's Josh Donaldson. He reads that he has a shot, and I said, I'm going to give up my body. And he does to make the catch. Fans helping him to his feet. What a play.
It doesn't get any better than that. Bouncing ball. Donaldson at third. Takes the bare hand again. Not in time. You got to look at that one, of course.
Yeah. You got to look at it just for where we are in this ball game. I wouldn't even wait. It was a curveball from Estrada, and we have seen Josh Donaldson in the past come in, plant that right foot, barehanded, and get it over. Everything was right. I'll tell you, that's going to be a hard one to turn over. Good stretch by Encarnacion, and he's on the bag. You can see that the ball is not secure in the glove. Had not hit the leather just yet, Tim. Now, John Gibbons got to do it for his starter. You've got to have him take a look at that one. It's going to be under review, but I think it's not going to get overturned.
Now, it looked like he was there in time, but this certainly brings back memories, and Joe West has already waved Forsythe safe. They went to the replay, but it brings back memories of Jim Joyce and Armando Galarraga. When Joyce called the base runner safe, there was no instant replay in place, and that was one of the greatest moments in baseball.
One more time. Donaldson does everything he can. Over, and you see Joe West. He's been around forever. He's the crew chief. He's going to take his time to make sure he gets that one right, and he did.
First base runner for the Rays. First hit. 1 out. Logan Forsythe breaks up the perfect game.
Boy, now you got to refocus, I think, if you're Marco Estrada. The excitement of what we just saw this afternoon. And now you've just given up your first base hit, your first base runner. Now you got to get back into the moment right here. Try and finish off this inning.
Well, if I were Navarro, I'd go right to the mound right now and say, okay, you lost the perfect game. You lost the no-hitter. We got to win this game.
Yeah.
And just go out there and make sure that he's caught his breath, that the heart rate is lowered, and trying to get him focused again. As Rubo Cabrera pulls it foul. Double barrel action for the Blue Jays down the left field line. That is Bo Schultz and Rob Rasmussen. Schultz, the right-hander. Rasmussen just called up from AAA Buffalo. A scoreless game, bottom of the 8th. A beautiful ball game. There goes the runner. Pulled deep to right, but that's going to hook foul. Cabrera hit a home run in the 8th inning last night.
Proved to be the game winner last night after Encarnacion homered in the 9th inning. He was just in front of a changeup a little bit. Kevin Cass trying to make something happen for the Tampa Bay Rays. Got plenty of distance down the right field line, but it's just foul. Trying to make something happen on the bases, starting that base runner with 1 out.
Two and two. High fly ball to center field. An easy play. Pilar is camped under it. Cabrera is retired. 2 down. Marco Estrada doing something no Blue Jay pitcher has done since 1988. He threw 6 or more innings with allowing no hits in back-to-back games. Dave Steve did it in his final 2 starts of the '88 season. Steve ended up with complete game 1 hitters in both of those ball games. There goes the runner. Hit deep into center, but Pilar has it. Measured, makes the catch. Forsythe broke on the pitch, but Geyer flies out to end the inning. The perfect game is over. The no-hitter is over, but Marco Estrada is in a scoreless tie as he heads to the ninth. Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
In a scoreless game like today, we got to go with drive of the game is the catch of the game right here. Look at Josh Donaldson give up his body and dive into the stands. He made that into the second row. Gold star right there with that catch by Donaldson, making a sensational catch last inning for Marco Estrada. Outstanding play.
Reyes made a great play earlier in the game on a tough ground ball in the fourth. Bautista made a sliding catch in the seventh to end that inning, and then Josh Donaldson with a terrific catch for the first out of the eighth. Brad Boxberger into the game, and he is working to Edwin Encarnacion, who homered off of Boxberger in last night's game.
Boxberger picked up the save in that game, 19 for 21 in saves this year. Good fastball, good changeup. He's recorded that save in each of his last 4 appearances.
Look out. Encarnacion is hit by the changeup. He'll go to first. Obviously no intent whatsoever in a scoreless game to get that leadoff man aboard, and now there's going to be a pinch runner into the game. Ezequiel Carrera will come off the bench and run for Encarnacion. So the pinch runners at first base. The Rays have won 7 of the 9 games these two clubs have played. The Blue Jays trying to win the series. This is the rubber match of the 3-game set.
This is where the Blue Jays were just a couple of innings ago. Encarnacion had singled, Navarro then singled first and third. Nobody out, and they couldn't score. Let's see if they can do it again.
Blue Jays have stranded 6. Carrera bluffed a break and held at first. Navarro and Martin next, then Colabello.
You couldn't ask for a hotter hitter right now for the Blue Jays with a runner at first base, a left-handed batter. A guy who can shoot a ball through that hole on the right side and watch Carrera run. He's had a great series.
Carrera running for Encarnacion. Carrera is 2 for 2 in steal attempts this year. Another stutter step break. He looked like he was unsure of what he wanted to do at first base.
Yeah, he got such a huge lead on Boxberg. I thought for sure he would go, but then he stopped.
Kevin Cash, the manager. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. The outfield is very deep, obviously, in this no doubles situation. Carrera's got to make note of that. Not only their depth, but also where they're positioned. Not running here. Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Decisions right there for a manager. What do you want to do?
There is never an easy game in Tropicana Field. There goes Carrera. Bounce to second. They have to go to first. The only play. Starting the runner keeps the Blue Jays out of the double play.
And that was a tricky hop right there by the second baseman Forsythe. The ball hit hard once again by Navarro to the right of the second baseman. Watch, they start the runner. That last hop, a wicked hop. He gets it up around the eyes. Had thoughts of maybe trying to turn 2, but John Gibbons starts that runner, stays out of the double play.
Base open for Russell Martin. Russell has hit into a pop double play when Encarnacion forgot how many outs there were, and he's also struck out twice. Martin struck out against Boxberger to end the game last night.
That's the great thing about baseball, isn't it? You got another chance the next day. Struck him out with a changeup. I think he threw him 3 straight changeups to end last night's ball game. So Russell might be sitting on it now.
Ball on the strike. Boxberger uses that changeup an awful lot. Tough call. Might have been off the plate inside. It goes against Martin. 1-2 now. Blue Jays are 1 for 6 this afternoon with runners in scoring position. That gets away. Carrera moves to third. The complexion of this inning has just changed dramatically.
On one pitch, now the infield has to come in. Maybe Boxberger changes what he wants to do to Martin as a hitter. A little bit easier with the infield in. He just yanks this pitch by Casale. Like he's trying to throw a slider or a cutter or something. Throws it to the backstop. And now you have to make the decision also if you're going to run on contact to try and steal a run.
Tampa Bay infield drawn in. Another ball in the dirt. Not far enough for Carrera to take a chance. It's a full count. The Rays won 4-3 last night. Blue Jays took the opener Monday night 8-5. Takes ball 4. Joe West had no swing. Martin's aboard. So a hit batter, a wild pitch, and now a walk. 1 out, first and third for Chris Colabello.
Timeout as Jim Hickey has some more words that he wants to talk to his pitcher with. We saw this earlier in the game. First and third, just 1 out. Definite plan that he has that he's giving up to his defense.
Yeah, he will come out and give you an attack on how you want to go after Colabello. Ben May, the home plate umpire, trying to speed things up a bit. Chris Colabello is the batter. Back on the 29th of May in Minnesota, in a tie game 4-4 against the Twins, Colabello hit a 2-run home run off Glenn Perkins. The difference in that ball game. He's got a opportunity here in a scoreless game to support Marco Estrada.
Let's get this guy some runs here. He deserves it.
If you're Carrera, boy, you got to be heads up for a ball in the dirt. Boxberger's bounced 3 now. Colabello struck out in his last at bat against Kevin Jepson. There's a strike.
Fastball changeup combination. You can see Colabello is looking for the changeup. He took that 2-0 fastball right down the middle.
Now he steps out to sort out his thoughts.
Is he going to go back to the changeup, or is he going to go to the fastball?
He got the fastball, and Colabello hits it into the third deck.
You know, there's so much information out there. They watch so much film and they have so much analytics. Boxberger, does he fall into a pattern? Right-handed batter, first and third with 1 out, 2 strikes. He'll throw this pitch so many percentages of the time. He'll throw a fastball or he'll throw a changeup, and they have all that information. Now you just got to take that to the plate.
Boxberger strikes out Colabello. He elevated that fastball and strikes him out.
Threw a couple of change-ups early and then went with the old number 1 fastball. That time up just a little bit, and Colabello comes up empty.
The batter will be Kevin Pillar. Casale with a brief meeting with his pitcher Brad Boxberger. Pillar is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Longoria continues to play deep at third. Bounced foul outside of third. Pillar's always thinking. He's got a utility man playing first base in Jake Elmore. The second baseman, Logan Forsythe, is up the middle. There's a big gap where you could push the ball right past the mound. There goes the runner, Russell Martin there. No throw from Casale. So it's a ball and a strike. Stolen base credited to Martin, his 4th.
They don't even throw through. They were giving him second base. Guarding against the double steal. Now single will plate 2.
Pillar pops it up over the Rays dugout. Tense affair here in St. Petersburg. Only 5 hits in the game in total. Pillar battling tough.
Yeah, he's elevating that fastball on Kevin. He has had trouble at times this year on that high fastball.
Another foul out of play. The Blue Jays didn't have a hit until Pilar singled with 1 out in the 6th. The Rays didn't have a base runner until 1 out in the 8th. Logan Forsythe hit an infield grounder to the third baseman Donaldson and beat it out at first.
Off the plate. That one's off the plate. Oxberger with that fastball down and away, and Pilar with a nice take.
That's a tough call for the umpire, Ben May. Of course, the game is on the line, and you've really got to be focused. 2-2 pitch. Pilar hits it to Longoria. A hot shot. He handles it. And the Blue Jays will strand 2 more. The Blue Jays have left 3, 2, 1, and now 2 in the 9th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It's a 0-0 game. No score.
On the fence trying to decide whether or not to give Josh Donaldson your vote. Just watch this play he makes. This is one of the best plays you're ever going to see from a third baseman. And he right now is not the starter for the All-Star game. So you have to get on to BlueJays.com, vote a maximum of 35 times per email address to get the guy who deserves to start the All-Star game right there, July 14th in Cincinnati. Buck, that was one of the best catches I've ever seen.
It was one of the best catches we've all ever seen. A terrific effort by Donaldson. Marco Estrada throws a first pitch strike. Chris Colabello moves to first base from left field. Ezequiel Carrera, the pinch runner, takes over defensively in left field. He ran for Edwin Encarnacion.
What a ball game. This has been a lot of fun. These two teams going at each other. And Marco Estrada deserves to win this one, so they send him back out for the 9th.
This is the first time he has pitched in the 9th inning in his career. His longest outing, 8 innings, September 29, 2012, while pitching for the Brewers, but he did not go to the mound for the 9th. Boy, he has been on a roll this month. He has won 4 straight decisions. His ERA in the month of June is now 3.00.
Amazing. And if it's fastball location doesn't teach you something right here watching this game, you don't know anything.
They have not taken a good swing against him all afternoon.
That fastball down and away to the righties. Just down in the strike zone. Again, it's only 89, 90 miles an hour, but he's locating it beautifully. And the Ray hitters just cannot come up with solid contact.
1-2. Now it's even at 2-2. Marco Estrada has thrown 114 pitches. Last time out, he threw a career high 118. This is another reminder that you can throw the pitch count out the door.
Yeah.
You just let the pitcher tell you how he feels. Full count. In the air. Shallow center. Pilar's got a beat on it. One down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Curt Casali has struck out in his 2 plate appearances today. Steven Souza Jr. batting for Casali. Souza started the first 2 games in right field.
He's got home run power. That's why he is up there hitting for Casali here. Just keep the ball away from him.
This is only his 2nd pinch hit appearance of the season. Take the sting out of his bat with the curveball.
That's why they threw him a couple of breaking balls here to lead off this at bat.
Navarro wondering where that pitch was. 2-1, 1 out. Number 9 hitter, the pinch hitter, Steven Souza Jr.
He has been all over that strike zone this afternoon.
Foul. You can see DeMarlo Hale, the bench coach for John Gibbons. They're having a lot of discussions down there in that dugout right now, and there are a lot of moves to be made in a scoreless game. You stick with Estrada. Got him. Another strikeout for Estrada. That's his 10th strikeout.
You know, you told you that hitters will let you know when the pitcher's had enough, and right now he's still humming right along. Elevated fastball with 2 strikes to a fastball hitter. Blows him away for another strikeout.
Estrada now with 10 strikeouts. That's the 5th time in his career he's had double-digit strikeouts. His career high is 12. I think Estrada learned something about his fastball today. He can use it.
He can use it. We saw that early on that he was using it a lot. Struck out 5 of the first 9 batters he faced.
Kevin Kiermaier, with his speed, you really got to focus on keeping him off the bases. Then again, that's not been a problem for Estrada. He's allowed just 1 base runner all afternoon.
That changeup's outstanding. You're seeing some funky swings from the Tampa Bay Rays off of that changeup.
High fastball. Navarro wanted that pitch upstairs, and Estrada delivered. .127 pitches. The problem Gibbons has is if you let Estrada pitch to Kiermaier and he reaches base, then you make a move. Estrada's on the hook.
Right now, he's just giving it everything he has right now. And you can see pitchers get tired. The ball starts elevating just a little bit. Just don't have those legs like you did in the first few innings.
3-2, 2 outs. There's a base hit. Pilar's got to hustle and cut it off. Kiermaier's going to challenge his arm. What a throw right on the money. Oh, my. Two of the best center fielders in the game. Match wits here. Pilar knows Kiermaier runs on everything.
And he does everything he can to get over there and cut the ball off and then throw a strike to second base. This is a hard throw for a right-handed outfielder. He's got to spin all the way around. He does everything correctly. But Kiermaier, who can fly, makes it just ahead of the tag. So a 2-out double for Kiermaier.
Kiermaier gets on base, and John Gibbons has made the call. What an effort by Marco Estrada today. He allows just 2 hits in 8 2/3, strikes out 10, and now he needs some help from the bullpen. How can you help but smile after throwing a gem like that?
Now entering the game with his call to the bullpen for Toronto.
Two-thirds. He strikes out 10, didn't walk a batter, leaves allowing just 2 hits. But now the winning run is in scoring position for Tampa Bay. Roberto Osuna picked up his first big league save on Monday night, a 2-inning save.
Gave up no hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts. He got 6 outs, 5 of them with the strikeouts. He had a very good fastball that night. And now trying to close off the 9th inning right here and send it to extras.
This is Joey Butler. He goes after the first pitch. Butler did not face Osuna in that game on Monday night. He was one of just 2 hitters that didn't face him in those 2 innings. Butler and Longoria neither facing Osuna on Monday night. Kiermaier can fly. Of course, he's at second representing the winning run. Good change.
Good change. Wow. You know, another thing about Kiermaier at second base with 2 outs, the infielders have got to play deep. They've got to knock down any ball and keep it on the infield. So he's got free range at second base. He can get off of there as far as he wants.
Osuna with the spin move.
He was thinking about going.
Yes, he was. He was going to steal third. And again, Osuna pitches well beyond his years.
How about that? First year in the big leagues, 20 years old, picks up on that.
In a scoreless game in the 9th. And then he calmly steps off the rubber. Let me regroup a bit. Osuna into the game in support of Marco Estrada. Ball and they're blocked by Navarro. It's 1-2. Estrada has been terrific in his last 2 starts. Ground ball, Reyes backhands it. Kiermaier's going to come around third, but the inning is over. The defense has been on their toes all afternoon. Reyes with a fine play up the middle to end the ninth. Reyes showing great range in that strong arm. We'll go to the 10th. It's a scoreless tie.
Internet to select Rogers Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry. Offer ends soon. And Buck, the Blue Jays could really use a little bit of igniting to this offense right now. It got this far into the game.
They sure could. We move to extra innings. Both teams are 2-2 in extra innings this season, and there'll be a new pitcher. This is Steve Jeltz into the ball game, and he's got a consecutive batters retired streak of 27 straight batters retired.
Stay hot right there for Gelt. So 1-2 with a 223 earned run average. Another change for the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a new battery. Rene Rivera stays into the ball game after Casale was pinch hit for. Geltz, good fastball, slider, and a splitter.
Ryan Goins 0 for 3. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. What a ball game. Scoreless into the 10th. Only 6 hits in the ball game. It's a high fly ball to center. Kiermaier is there. 1 down. It seems as though no matter what the Blue Jays do, if they score a lot of runs, it's 10-9. If they don't score any runs, it's 0-0. It's like, this is a tough place for them to win, and Marco Estrada did everything you could ask of a pitcher this afternoon.
Trouble matching it up, huh? The offense with the pitching. Hey, Eddie, that's the beauty of baseball. Anything can happen on any day. Blue Jays are battling, trying to take this series from Tampa Bay. Pick up another game on the Rays.
The Blue Jays are 3 games back of the Rays. Tampa Bay has won 7 of their last 10 games. They are 41-32. The Blue Jays are in 4th place, 38-35. Reyes puts a charge in it, but it's to the center fielder. 2 fly ball outs here in the 10th. There are only 3 other games in the afternoon. The Yankees are leading 5-0 over Philadelphia. They're in the bottom of the 6th in New York. Cleveland has a 7-2 lead over the Tigers. Bottom of the 8th, and the Twins are leading the Chicago White Sox at home. The Twins are at home, and they're in the bottom of the 7th, 3-1. The Yankees have lost 3 in a row, last 2 to the Phillies. And the Phillies have pounded on the Yankees.
Yeah, they got 11 runs the other day against the Yanks.
What a great sense of satisfaction for Marco Estrada, who started pitching for the Blue Jays out of the bullpen this season. In his last 2 starts, he's taken a no-hitter at least into the 7th. Today he took a perfect game into the 8th.
Yeah, perfect, or a no-hitter through 7. Both of these starts, I mean, he's been outstanding. What a nice surprise for the Blue Jays.
Josh Donaldson behind. 0-2. Gelt's not giving up a thing, as we've mentioned. He has been on some stretch. He's retired 28 straights over 9 appearances. Now it's up to 30 with 2 outs here in the 10th.
Major League record's 46. And that was just done last season.
Full count. Bautista would love to come to the plate here in the 10th.
Blue Jays have left 8 runners on base over the last 4 innings. They've had their chances against the Rays. They haven't come up with a big hit.
Strike 3 call. Donaldson caught looking. So Jeltz now has retired 31 straight batters with a perfect 10th. We move to the bottom of 10. Longoria, DeJesus, and Forsythe for the Rays. And he was terrific, using all of his pitches very effectively.
Total command. The only difference between this start and his last start, he was not wild at the beginning of the game. He was in total command from the first pitch. He retired the side in order in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. He got the first batter in the 8th inning using all of his pitches before there was an infield hit. Marco Estrada pitches into the 9th inning. 10 strikeouts and no walks. A beautifully pitched game by Marco.
He was really on his game from the first pitch. He gave up a hustle double to Kevin Kiermaier in the 9th with 2 outs. That was only the second hit he allowed. Roberto Osuna came in to retire Joey Butler. And now it'll be Bo Schultz into the game for just his 6th appearance of the season.
John Gibbons said he's going to pitch him in higher leverage situations, a little bit higher, and it doesn't get any higher than this right here. Bottom of the 10th inning, you got to face Evan Longoria.
Schultz is 29 years old. The Blue Jays claimed him on waivers October 7, 2014 from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He got his first taste of major leagues last year with Arizona, pitched a total of 4 games. Pulls that one way outside. Schultz was originally signed by the Oakland Athletics. He actually pitched in Vancouver in 2009 in the Northwest League. That runs off the plate outside. Bo Schultz grew up in Dallas, Texas, went to college in Chicago at Northwestern University. Longoria goes after that sinker. It bounces past Donaldson, and that'll be an infield hit for Evan Longoria. Schultz has got dramatic movement. That was a tough sinker and a tough hop for Donaldson.
Yeah, he can sink the fastball or he can run it away from the right-handers. Longoria hits it. It's going to be a short hop. And a tough play for the third baseman. He pulls that glove up just a little bit too quickly, and it is indeed an infield hit for Longoria.
And that's the only opportunity Donaldson had to make a play. You got to go for the short hop. Reyes was going to be too deep if he had made the play behind Donaldson to make any play on Longoria. David DeJesus, the cleanup hitter. Schultz jumps ahead with a strike. The appeal down to third. Rob Drake says no swing. Ball and a strike to the left fielder.
Tampa Bay getting their first look at Bo Schultz. I was watching Evan Longoria over there at first base. He was giving demonstrations to the bench on what the ball does from Schultz. He's got a good sinker to the right-handers.
That's going to reach the seats, out of play. We mentioned both of these clubs have a 2-2 record in extra innings this season. Strike 3 called. DeJesus knew it. He couldn't pull the trigger on that inside fastball, looking out over the plate.
Second baseman, number 11, Logan.
We mentioned how these two teams have the same record in extra innings. They also have a very similar record in the month of June. Blue Jays are 15-6. The Rays 15-7. That's the best record in the majors for the month of June. The Pirates are 14-6.
And how about the Orioles? 3 American League East teams starting to get it on in the month of June.
Logan Forsythe He broke up the perfect game with an infield hit to the third baseman in the 8th. That came with 1 out. Marco Estrada retired 22 straight to start the game before that infield hit. And then after that hit, Estrada retired Cabrera and Geyer to end the 8th. Three and 0. The Blue Jays have done some shuffling in their bullpen, as Pat mentioned. Bo Schultz is going to be given some higher leveraged opportunities. And there's a 4-pitch walk.
You know, they're just searching for somebody who can finish off games for them right now. Hold the lead or keep a tie game scoreless like this. John Gibbons searching for anybody. Brett Cecil going to be moved down the pecking order, if you will, into a little bit lower leverage situations right now, according to John Gibbons.
John Gibbons just looking for any combination that can give him some zeros late in the game.
Yeah, he don't care where it comes from or who it is. I'm going to go with that hot pitcher. I need outs.
Is Asdrubal Cabrera, the shortstop. Longoria at second. He's the only base runner that matters right now. Bo Schultz has a lot of movement on his fastball. He's just got to get it in that strike zone.
Right down at the bottom of the strike zone. Blue Jay outfielders Kevin Pillar throws really well. Ezekiel Carrillo throws really well from left field, and everybody knows about Bautista's arm, the problems he has had. He does not have an outfield assist yet this year.
Line drive to Schultz, and they go to first and throw it away. Longoria's got to go back and tag up, and now they're going to go to first. Here's the throw to third, and Donaldson plays the ball back in. And oh my, they were throwing it around, and Longoria had to go back and tag up because it was a line drive to the pitcher. So they had base runners hung up all over the infield, and they couldn't get that second out.
And they just couldn't freeze on a line drive. They had him out at second base or first base. Take your pick right here. Watch Longoria taking off, and now he's got to go all the way back once he realizes that that ball is down the right field line. If not, he scores. Bo Schultz follows up his throw by gunning the ball over to third base just ahead. Has Longoria. Watch him.
I think he forgets how many outs there are. And then he realizes, oh, that's only 2 outs. Now he's got to go back to tag up before he can have any chance of advancing. Bo Schultz's throw is in the dirt. Donaldson comes off the base to make sure it doesn't get away. Cabrera had backed him up from left field. Boy, that was quite a circus going on there for a while.
I'll tell you, if he recognizes that right away, he scores.
He may have just assumed that the throw was going to be accurate at first and the inning would be over. Brandon Geyer. 2 outs. Schultz is charged with an error on the bad throw. So Longoria's at third. Forsythe at second. This game has had a little bit of everything.
That was crazy what we just witnessed right there. First and second. First of all, the line drive and a great play by Schultz to catch the ball. Boy, this ball game is over. That ball goes into center field. The game is over. And then he flips it over to first base. Longoria doesn't recognize it. He can only move up 90 feet.
Strike two. Well, Longoria knew that once the ball got past Colabello at first, he had to go back and tag up before he could advance. So he slid into second, running back from third.
And then had to go right back to third base and just barely got there.
One and two, 2 outs. The Rays have had one walk-off win this season. Rene Rivera on April 23rd drove in the second run in a 2-1 ball game. That came in the ninth, obviously, off Anthony Bavaro. Upstairs, but Geyer lays off.
He is just reaching back right now and is throwing it as hard as he can, trying to get this last out. Got some nice little cutting action on that fastball.
As a drive to right, Bautista was shaded in right. He makes the catch in fair territory. So Bo Schultz gets out of a tough situation in the 10th. Tampa Bay strands a pair in the 10th. We'll go to the 11th. It's still scoreless. The defense has been sharp all afternoon. Bautista's made a couple of fine catches in right. And 35, 9 games over. They had a 2.5 game lead over Baltimore. Tampa Bay was really struggling. They were 13 games out. Well, it's quite a turnaround for them this season, and no one, I mean no one, anticipated the Rays would be leading the East this time of the year.
Not because they were good enough, it's because they've had all the injuries to all their players. 4 starters on the disabled list. They've used 44 players, a club record before the All-Star break already this year. 26 pitchers used. That is a club record already, and we're not even to the All-Star break.
Jose Bautista goes after the first pitch. Steve Geltz had a perfect inning in the 10th. Geltz is the 4th reliever to work for Tampa Bay this afternoon. Nathan Carnes, the starter, went 6 innings plus 2 batters. He allowed just 3 hits, walked 3, and struck out 5. Then it's been Jepsen, McGee, Boxberger, and now Geltz. And Bautista strikes out.
Probably the biggest pitcher this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays was Kevin Jepsen. He inherited a tough situation. First and third, nobody out, and got out of it. Geltz, that's 32 in a row now as he blows that fastball by Bautista for first out.
32 straight batters retired by the Rays right-hander. Ezequiel Carrera entered the ballgame in the 9th inning as a pinch runner for Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin got hit by Brad Boxberger to start the 9th. He bunts it right off Rene Rivera, the catcher. Two and one now. Carrera in the batter's box. Deanna Navarro was on deck. That high fastball. Brandon Gomes, a right-hander, loosening up for Tampa Bay. This is a very good bullpen. And they're deep.
8 pitchers in the bullpen for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Carrera hits it down the right field line. Geyer gets over. Carrera will stop at first with a 1-out single. So the consecutive batters retired streak is over. 32 straight snapped by Ezequiel Carrera on the base hit.
He has been swinging a nice bat lately, playing good defense for the Blue Jays. Gets it started here in the 11th with that base hit.
So now Deanna Navarro, he's 1 for 4 this afternoon. He's 6 for 12 in the series. Carrera 2 for 2 in steal attempts.
Boy, there's been some quality pitching this afternoon. I mean, down at the strike zone with a little something on it. I mean, they're unhittable.
Navarro had a good look at it and thought it was low. He's been behind the plate all afternoon and has seen the strike zone have been made. And he wasn't too pleased about strike 2. Chases that high fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Russell Martin's been to DH this afternoon. We're in the top of the 11th. The Blue Jays have struck out 13 times this afternoon.
You know, no sin in that. I mean, they're facing a team with a great pitching staff. The Tampa Bay Rays, they got the best earned run average in the American League. And nothing wrong with that. Russell's already this season come up with some big hits, especially in extra innings for the Blue Jays. It's be a perfect time for your first hit in this series. How about a extra base hit?
1-0 to Russell Martin. There goes Carrera. He got a good jump. Rivera into the game, and boy, he tagged him awfully high. Blue Jays don't get to call a second. Kerwin Danley calls out Carrera. Rene Rivera came into the ballgame as a defensive replacement. He makes a strong throw, and John Gibbons is thinking about challenging that call. Watch where the tag is on Carrera. Tagged him on the side. It looked like he may have been on the base, but watch again the extension. Watch his right hand on the base. Boy, it's tough to tell there. Looked like he was out. Kerwin Danley, the umpire at second, making the call. Now they're going to ask the umpires to review it. Danley will be joined by Joe West and the home plate umpire Ben May. They're going to have a conference about this.
This might be the best shot right here. The head first slide. Good job by Forsythe to go get that ball. Again, that's a high tag. Does the right hand get in there beforehand?
It's a scoreless game. Obviously, this is a big play in this ball game. And Joe West explaining his position to John Gibbons. They had an earlier challenge overturned as the ruling on the field was upheld by the review, and the umpires don't have to go to the review after the 7th inning when you're out of challenges, and that's the case. So now the Blue Jays will walk off as an offense and come back on the field defensively. Brett Cecil into the game. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th.
See the Blue Jays in Seattle. All you have to do is tweet at Blue Jays a photo of you showing your Blue Jays spirit along with the hashtags Roman and Blue Jays contest. It closes Sunday, June 28th, so visit BlueJays.com now for your chance to go to Safeco Field. Buck?
Barry, that road trip starts in Oakland. We'll be in Seattle on July 24th, 25th, and 26th. One of the best stops on the tour. Chance to see the Blue Jays on the road at Safeco Field. Jake Elmore, the number 8 hitter, facing Brent Cecil into the ball game. Roberto Osuna, Bo Schultz now, Brett Cecil, the relievers working for the Blue Jays. Two and 0.
3-0. 3-0. He has missed
3-0.
Yeah,
missed all 3 pitches.
And you got to figure that Elmore is going to work Brett Cecil over here, trying to get aboard.
A 4-pitch walk. That's the way the bottom of the 11th begins. 0-0 ball game. You look at Brett Cecil's numbers for the season. His 27th appearance, the ERA almost 6.
Yeah, he's been struggling lately. He's given up runs in 5 of his last 6 outings to get that earned run average up around 6. Right now, his fastball command and his breaking ball command just hasn't been there. So Pete Walker is on the phone right away to get Steve Delabar up. This is a bunting situation.
Rene Rivera jabs at it. This is his first at bat of the game. He came in defensively as they pinch hit for the catcher, Kurt Casale. Rivera has been the regular catcher this season.
Trying to bunt the ball to the right side of the infield. Brett Cecil falls off the mound towards the third baseline. Josh Donaldson is hard charging from third.
Very difficult to understand when you're a catcher and a defensive catcher at that, how you cannot handle the bunt. And obviously you're going to get a few opportunities batting in a 9th spot. Rivera hitting under 200 for the season, batting just 163. He's going to bunt again and bunts it foul and strikes out. Boy, that's a big out, and the Rays give the Blue Jays a break as Rivera can't get the bunt down.
You have to bunt him because he hits anything on the ground, it's a double play, so you take your chances bunting him one more time. Brett Cecil does the right thing, throws a high fastball. That is a tough pitch to get down on the ground, and he'll get a strikeout.
Back to the top of the order, Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier hit a 2-out double in the 9th, but was stranded at second when Osuna came in to retire Joey Butler. Two and 0. That's a little flare into shallow center. Reyes is not going to get there. Kiermaier again with a little bloop into center. His second hit of the game. Elmore goes to second. Now we're going to have a pinch runner.
Number 9, Joey Butler.
Ball hit into no man's land in center field. No chance for Reyes, Pilar, Herrera to make that catch. Reyes goes back on it and has to catch it on one bounce. And Kiermaier's got another hit, a pinch runner for Elmore.
Nick Franklin comes off the bench. He'll pinch run for Jake Elmore. So Franklin represents the winning run. 1 out. We're in the 11th. So Navarro is going to have a little chat with Brett Cecil here. The Tampa Bay Rays have used all of their position players now. They only have 3 men on the bench, and they have all come off the bench. They're in the game. 1 out. Joey Butler grounded out 3 times to the shortstop, and he's also struck out. Two
of those plays by the shortstop Reyes, outstanding. saved the game in the 9th inning on a play that he went up the middle to his left with 2 outs and Kiermaier on base. Flags it down and recorded the out over at first base to send this game into extra innings.
That gets away from Navarro. The runners move up. Winning run now just 90 feet away.
And now the infield has to come in. It looked like a changeup or some kind of off-speed pitch that bounced right off the corner of the plate and right through the catcher to the backstop. Now the infield has to come in. And this is where you can play the contact play because you've got 2 runners on board. Ground ball to the infield, you send that runner at third base, and then the runner at second will be at third base on anything on the ground.
The outfield has to come in as well. They are shallow now. You can only play as deep as your arm strength, and you've got to make sure you are shallow enough. If you catch a ball, you got a shot at the runner.
Yeah, catch a line drive. That's the whole thing where you play in these situations.
1-2. Now it's 2-2. It seems as though we have been here before at Tropicana Field against the Rays. Oftentimes the games come down to the final at bats. Full count. Evan Longoria is on deck.
Butler hasn't seen too many breaking balls from Brett Cecil, and it's been a good strikeout pitch for him.
Cecil was almost into his delivery when time was granted. Brett Cecil walked the leadoff man to start the inning. Breaking ball, strikeout. Navarro's got to look the runner back at third. The curveball gets Butler. So now you've got an opportunity to walk Longoria.
Yes. That curveball, again, he hasn't seen too many of them, and it's a good one. He uses it for a strikeout, gets the strikeout. Now you can take Evan Longoria out of the equation right here. Just put him on first base and pitch to the left-hander on deck. This is why right here. Since 2008, no one has driven in more runs against the Blue Jays than Evan Longoria.
So you take the bat right out of his hand. Longoria with 87 ribbies. Ortiz, Jones, Pedroia, and Davis. All AL East batters. So Longoria will be issued the free pass. It's the 6th intentional walk he's been given this season, and that's understandable. So it'll be the 2nd walk of the inning. David DeJesus, remember they have used all the players on their bench. They only had 3 bench players, so they don't have an option to pinch hit for DeJesus.
Right. And they're all in the ball game now, so it's up to DeJesus. He's 2 for 7 in his career against Cecil. And he's been around a long time, DeJesus. He's not going to get flustered in this situation.
This is only his 4th at bat against left-handed pitching this season. He has become a platoon player in the latter stages of his career. No place to put DeJesus. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Just off the plate, ball 1. This is the rubber game of this 3-game set. Fastball strike. Been a great game. We've had great pitching all afternoon from both sides. We've had some terrific defensive plays, especially from the Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson made one of the best of the year. 1-2. Cecil's ahead.
Now you can expand just a little bit right here. If you're the runner at third base, you're anticipating a ball in the dirt.
The pinch runner, Nick Franklin, is at third. Ground ball, Reyes is there. Here's the throw across the diamond. We'll go to the 12th. Brett Cecil gets out of it. The Rays leave the bases loaded. They have stranded 7. It's still a scoreless game. Martin, Colabello, and Pilar will bat when we come back to St. Pete. They won 8-5. They lost yesterday 4-3, and it's 1-1 or nothing in 12. They have an off day tomorrow before the Texas Rangers come to town. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then the Boston Red Sox come in. It'll be Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday on Canada Day game, and then before they finish up with the Reds, they'll go out to Detroit to start the road trip that will end up the first half. Take us right into the All-Star break.
Detroit, Chicago, Kansas City, and that's the All-Star break. This is Brandon Gomes who's going to come into the ball game now. This is the 5th reliever this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays. There are his sparkling numbers once again. Just 20 strikeouts and 5 walks.
This is popped up and playable. Brandon Geyer gets into foul territory. Martin's retired on one pitch. Nick Franklin came into the game as a pinch runner for Jake Elmore. He takes over defensively at first base. Chris Colabello 0 for 4, couple of flyouts, couple of strikeouts.
Where they bring their game when the Blue Jays come to town, that bullpen. This is Brandon Gomes, and he's pitched against the Blue Jays 20 times in his career. He's had 26 strikeouts in those 20 innings.
Down and away, it's a ball and a strike. These two teams, although the Rays have had the advantage the last several years, they're always good ball games. They both play very well against one another. So far this season, Tampa Bay has a 7-2 advantage over the Blue Jays in the 9 previous games. It's a high, deep drive to left center. Kiermaier is back. He won't get this one. Chris Colabello, another home run. His 6th home run off Brandon Gomes gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. Colabello has had a bucket full of big hits for the Blue Jays.
There's another one right there on the road, probably again to the deepest part of this ballpark in left center field. And he went down and got that ball. It looked like a fastball on the outer edge, and he went down and got it. Deep to left field. You mentioned the home run against his former team, Minnesota, that won a game for the Blue Jays in extra innings. He won a game at Rogers Center against the Houston Astros, and now he puts the Blue Jays up here in the 12th.
Kevin Pillar takes a first pitch strike.
Watch him go down and get this ball. And then hammers it to left field. He knows. He's hit a few of them. He knows that he's got a chance to leave the yard, and it does.
Well, he had to run up the first base line. If it doesn't go out of the ballpark, at least you want to end up at second, get yourself into scoring position, but he knocks it out of the park. Home run number 6, RBI number 27. That's the first run of the ball game, and it comes in the 12th inning. Steve Delabar cranking it up down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Pillar hits it to center field. Routine play for Kiermaier. 2 down.
Second baseman, Ryan Goins.
Chris Colabello, boy, what a pleasant surprise he has been since he joined the Blue Jays in the first week of May. His mom is in Italy for the summer, but she watches all the games on the computer. And you can bet over there late in the night in Italy, she's having a big smile on her face right now.
That's now at least 1 hit for him. 37 games and 44 that he has played this year. I mean, you talk about a guy who just make contributions, do something to help your ball club win. Well, that has a chance to be a pretty good one.
Ryan Goins hits it off the end of the bat. Kiermaier comes in. The inning is over, but the damage is done. Chris Colabello with 1 out. He was 0 for 4. He hits a home run. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Steve Delabar coming in, looking for the save in the bottom of the 12th. The only run of the game came in the top half of the 12th. Chris Colabello, with his 6th home run of the season, came with 1 out. And now Steve Delabar comes into the game trying to wrap it up for the Blue Jays.
Delabar has been pitching much better lately since he's been called back up. There are his numbers in 18 games, 2-0 with 150 earned run average. He's been throwing strikes consistently. His fastball's been much better.
Justin Smoke enters the game defensively, taking over for Chris Colabello. Delabar delivers a first pitch strike to Logan Forsythe. Forsythe broke up Marco Estrada's perfect game with a 1-out infield single in the 8th. Forsythe strikes out, 1 down. Delabar with that good splitter.
In a good spot, too. Now he's going to have to face a guy who Steve faced last night, Asdrubal Cabrera. Picked on a high fastball, and this turned out to be the game winner for the Tampa Bay Rays as he sends it right into the first row in right field. So like we said earlier, it's the great thing about baseball. You got another chance here the next day.
First pitch fouled into the seats, out of play. Chris Colabello with another dramatic hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon. His 6th home run of the season. He's driven in 27 runs now. Cabrera fouls it off.
Steve has made a few changes in the way he sets up, and I think it's really helped him to get that arm going, and his quality of pitches have been a lot better. He's kept his hands a little bit higher in that stretch, and his fastball location and splitter location have been much better.
Fouled off in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes on Asdrubal Cabrera, the Rays shortstop. Blue Jays have 1 run on 6 hits. They've committed an error. Tampa Bay, no runs on 4 hits and no errors. Just off the plate. Blue Jays trying to gain ground on the front-running Tampa Bay Rays. They're currently in 4th place, 3 games back. Popped up over the Blue Jays dugout.
Biggest play of the game might have been Asdrubal Cabrera's last at-bats. That happened in the 10th inning with a couple of runners on a line drive right back at Bo Schultz. He caught it and then was going to double up the runner at first base, but threw it down the right field line.
And then there were runners going everywhere.
But not across home plate.
Cabrera strikes out. Delabar strikes out the first 2 here in the 12th.
Right fielder, number 5, Brandon Guyer.
Pretty good fastball right there from Steve Delabar. Threw that one right by Cabrera. So little redemption for Steve after the home run yesterday. He gets Cabrera this afternoon.
The Blue Jays in franchise history have won 7 1-0 extra inning games. This would be number 8.
Tell you what, it has been one entertaining afternoon watching these 2 teams go at each other. Great pitching, defense, an extra inning home run.
Had a bit of everything. The last time they won a 1-0 game in extra innings was right here at Tropicana Field, September 4th, 2014. 1-0 in 10 innings. 0-2, way outside. Inside. He tried to get hit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He just almost kneeled right into that one. Take it on the legs. Any way to get yourself on.
This should do it. Pilar is in center. Steve Delabar picks up the save with a 1-2-3 12th inning. That's just his second career save and a